Do you wish that you had more support from your spouse with regards to your personal dreams, your career dreams, your financial dreams, you know, your just dreams that you want to birth? Or is it that divine instruction that you just received and you know that you need his support on it? If that is you, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 3 reasons why some men do not support their wives, and then how you can turn this around if you find yourself in this situation, so that you get his unalloyed, unflinching support for you right now with regards launching that dream. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Iphie. If this is not your first time around this blog, I am super excited to see you here again. If you're not new here, this is not your first time around this blog, I'm so excited that you found time to come back again. Thank you so much. My mission with this channel is to help Christian career women desiring more income, fulfillment, and freedom in their lives achieve just that while prospering in their jobs, while still being a strong, influential pillar in their homes and in their nations. If this sounds like you and you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please click the subscribe button right now. Don't forget to also click the bell icon so that you get instant notification when I post new videos about becoming this uncommon woman. My husband is one of my greatest supporters when it comes to birthing my dreams. You know, is it my career dreams or my business dreams, the multiple crazy ideas that I have. He not only, you know, supports me and, you know, gives input, gives his time and resources actually to supporting me to birth those things, but he also releases me to shine like the star that he knows I was born to be. Yeah. Anyway, seriously, so what I'm going to share with you in this video are the things that I have used over the years to get him to support all my crazy ideas, even some of them that I really didn't think he was going to support. I've also taught this to women in the Uncommon Woman circle, in the Uncommon Woman community, and quite a number of them have actually gotten successes. So if you're ready for an overdose of support, you know, let's dive in. Okay, so we move into the first reason why some men do not support their spouses. This might hurt a bit, just be prepared. But the honest truth is that most men that do not support their wives honestly haven't been supported. Yeah, I said it. So if you're in a situation where your husband doesn't support your dreams, ask yourself, have you supported his? Ouch, oosh. I didn't plan to make it that hurtful, but really that is the honest truth. And I know you're saying, oh, but Iphie, I support him. I take care of the house. I do this, I do that. And the question I'm asking you now is, what's his current headache? What's that thing that he needs help on right now, or he needs help with right now? Have you been able to support him in that thing? So for example, your husband is trying to expand his business. That's his current headache. How can you support him to actually achieve that? Can you reach out to your network of people and actually, you know, get new clients for him? Or can you reach out to your network of people to do different things? I remember this story that Pastor Mildred shared about when she married Pastor Kingsley, and then he was trying to go into TV ministry, and then she leveraged her background in media to actually get him the contacts that he needed to actually get on TV. That's what we're talking about here. So question, I said top reasons was because most of them haven't been supported, and it's not essentially in the things that we think sometimes. So go back to the question, what's his current headache now, and how can you help him? Your husband is thinking about changing jobs. You see he's unhappy about his job and he wants to change jobs. How have you helped him in this regard? I know you would also say, oh, Iphie, but you know, I see men that their wives have supported and then they just never support their wives. And yes, that is true. But it's also true that there are men that have been supported and they also support their wives. And that brings me to this. Supporting your husband is like a seed time and harvest. It's seed time and harvest circle. So you support, and then when the harvest is ripe, or when the time comes, he will also support you. But then within the whole seed time and harvest circle, there are different kinds of seed, there are different kinds of soil. And then that's also the reason why some men, they will just be so supported, but they will still not support their wives. While some men, with just a little bit of support, they absolutely are your raving fans and they're just looking for every opportunity to support you. The question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of soil is your husband? Remember that parable of the seed that was thrown in different places, the rocky place, and then the thorns, and then the good soil? That's the same thing with men. So ask yourself, if you're I didn't plan to do this today, but let me just quickly say it. But if your husband is either a rocky soil, is either a thorny soil, or is either a good soil. If it's a rocky soil, that means honestly, as some men that let me just say it as it is, but they were spoiled while they were being raised. They do not understand the responsibility of being a man and taking care of a family. If you're married to that kind of person, honestly, the more you support, he sees it as his right. Doesn't mean that he will reciprocate it. What do you do in that regard? You just honestly just keep praying for him, speaking God's word over him, because you need his heart to actually change. If there are men that are thorny soils, it means that he's not a bad person, but there are habits around him that if you support and you invest in supporting him, those thorns will just swallow up your things. So for example, maybe this person has bad friends around him or has a bad habit. I actually remember one friend that said, my husband will give everything. You want to support him in, growing his business, he will give out the money to people, So in this regard, how do you support that man? You help to ensure that those thorns do not swallow up the support, and you do this lovingly. So if, let's say, there's a habit of bad friends, or there's a habit of bad spending choices, how do you lovingly support your husband to be able to use that investment that you're making, either by way of your time or your resources, to make sure it counts? And then if it's a good soil, trust me, I have seen this so many times, not just in my life, but in the lives of so many women. If it's a good soil, a man that understands responsibility, understands that my wife is supporting me, is generally a good person. If you do support that individual, when it's time, it will come back to you. How do you make sure it comes? It could come back to you 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. Remember, you just fertilize the soil with your word of God. So you constantly keep speaking the word of God over your husband. Call his name and say, you're a great person, you have a great heart. As I invest in you, as I sow into your life, as I do things for you, you would also reciprocate when the time is nigh. Things like that. Anyway, so that is number one reason why some men, like I told you, not all men, some men do not support their wives. They do not feel supported, and how to turn it around, okay? The second reason why some men do not support their wives with regards to their dreams is because sometimes they are thinking, if I support her and she becomes big and famous, is she going to need me? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my God, he's so insecure. I shouldn't have even been with him. Hold up. Do you remember the story of when God was taking the Israelites into a new land? He says, oh, I'm taking you into a new land. And when you go into that new land, do not forget to, continue to love him and worship him and all that. And he said, if they don't do that, he was going to destroy them. So are you trying to tell me that God is insecure? Yeah. So if your husband, who is created in God's image and likeness, is feeling this way, it's not abnormal. Now think about it this way. God, who could destroy the Israelites, is actually saying, oh, you know what? You're taking you to a new land, is filled with milk and honey. Do not forget to continue to worship me and worship me alone. If you don't, I will destroy you. So dear uncle, who you are married to, is most likely thinking, oh man, I can't do anything to this woman. So if she becomes big and famous, is she going to need me? You know what? I'm not ready to take the risk, so I don't even support at all. Yeah. So what can we do? So first step, I'm trying to explain to you that what he feels is not abnormal. It is very, very normal. So what do we do to turn this around to get his support? You need to ask for help. You need to show your husbands that you do need them, and you need them emotionally, you need them physically. There's this story that Tara Durotoye actually shared. Interestingly, it was, I think, one of their wedding anniversaries, and she was there and FD was also there. And she talked about how she was growing House of Tara. In the eyes of the world, she's this big CEO, but once she comes in through her doors, she literally is Fela's baby girl. Like, she just collapses into his arms and she's like, oh, I'm so tired. And then FD actually said that, those things she did then, used to make him feel like, oh my God. And make him feel like a Superman, like I need to protect her, I need to take care of her. Your man needs to always feel like you need him. Like it just amplifies the need to protect you and take care of you. So no matter how big and famous you become, because as you do God's work, as you do your assignment, everything that you desire, yes, will come with it. You always need to show your spouse that that's outside. In here, you still, are my number one, and things like that. So ask for help, collapse into his arms, don't act Superwoman when you're around him, okay? So is this resonating with you? If it is, please hit the like button, drop your comments. Like I said, this is pretty much a very sensitive topic. It works differently for different people. This is what has worked for me. I've shared with a couple of people, it has worked for them. The number 3 reason why some men do not support their spouses as much as they expect is because they are thinking in their head, if I support her and she becomes big and famous, will she respect me? Yes. Respect is a big deal. Nobody talks about it per se, but it actually is a big deal. And then respect is different for different people. I'll give an example. Respect in some cultures where I'm from, you actually, maybe kneel down and all that. If I did that for my husband, maybe I knelt down to give him food, the guy would just burst out laughing and he'll be like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? But there are ways that my husband expects respect from me. And those are simple things that I know because I'm his wife. So respect, what I'm trying to say is respect is different for different people. Understand what your husband sees as disrespectful and make sure you work with him in a way that is respectful. Also, respect is not just actions. Respect is a lifestyle. It comes from your thoughts. So honestly ask yourself, do you respect your husband? When you birth your more, you become big, you become famous, people know you. It just amplifies what was already in you. So the question I need you to honestly ask yourself is, do you respect your husband? If you do respect your husband, it should start from your thoughts. So when you think about your husband, what's the thought that comes to you? If you think about your husband now and the thought that comes is, oh, that's stupid man, or that, there's a problem. There's a problem there, and you need to start working on those thoughts. Because if that's what you're thinking, anything you're doing with regards respect is just lip service. It's fake, and there's no need. Why waste your time? So start from the thoughts. Your thoughts concerning your husband needs to be respectful. If it is not, then you start to speak what you want and use the power of words and of affirmations. What do you want? What is that thing that causes you to disrespect him? How would you rather he behaves or he comports himself, or what would you rather he does? Start to speak those things concerning him, and your thoughts, you would see them changing. Bonus point, right? So while we're trying to get our husbands to support our dreams, because in some homes, it is very critical, especially where the husband is a very strong personality. The truth is that you can get it and you have it. You just need to understand that there is a wisdom to making it come to bear in your home. So now, bonus point, as you're trying to get his support, focus on your purpose. Focus on what God has asked you to do, what you feel God is placing in your heart to do in this season. It could be, starting a ministry, starting a business that is going to impact lives based on your gifts, growing in your career, whatever it is. Focus on that and trust God to clear all the barriers. When God started laying in my heart that I was called to women and, laying all these different things I needed to do for women in my heart, I found it very funny because my husband is not exactly, or you didn't used to exactly be a fan of like all these women gatherings. He used to nicely tease me and call them gossip gatherings. And I just said, God, you know what? I didn't send myself. This assignment, I didn't give it to myself. If this assignment is truly from you, please make a way. Talk to your son and let me have his support. And honestly, my husband sometimes even reminds me of my meetings, how far have you been doing this? So there's nothing that God cannot do, especially when that thing that you require support on is tied to your purpose, tied to something that is important to him. So it's action time. So tell me, what is the one action that you are going to take today based on everything that you have learned? Drop it in the comments. Remember, Uncommon Women are action takers. If you have any more questions about starting a side business with your full-time job, any other question, I've created this amazing guide that has the top questions that I receive from most career women that want to birth their more, and they desire more income, they desire more fulfillment and freedom. I have all the questions in that guide. The link is in the description. Click on it and download your free copy now. And if you're wondering how to balance all these balls, full-time job, being a wife, being a mom, business, ministry, different things, like how to balance it, you shouldn't miss my next video, because in my next video, I share how I balance work and family with my different side hustles and still I'm able to make time for God. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and see you in the next video.